David.
Mm-hmm.
He did an AMA a few weeks back, which was translated, so it may have been taken out of context, but several content creators have done videos on it to cover the topics, and some really great questions were asked of David. And one of them, David's response was in relation to the future of the app and the growth being not just specific to collectibles, but branching into the VeVeVerse being more of an aspect. I was wondering, David, if you could elaborate at all as to what the vision that you have is for the app, and whether, because I mean, obviously a lot of people right now are frustrated if they can't get collectibles or whatever the case may be. Maybe what are your thoughts on some of the engagement methods that will be outside of owning the collectibles that will keep people coming back to the app?
Yeah, I mean, what we talked about in that addressing the Asian audience was that they asked, I think the context of the question was, what else will be coming in? And I think Dan covered quite a bit in the VeVeVerse. And what we envision, coming up in your showroom is that you will want to have pedestals, you will want to have furniture to put things up, and shelves for your collectible to sit on. And, there will be immersed, you can imagine there will be major brands out there. I'm not going to say any, I'm just giving an example. There'd be brands, fashion brands out there. There could be a furniture retail store wants to really be immersed in part of this whole, metaverse and the fandom. And, we have thought carefully, when we start this metaverse side, VeVeVerse, what other things apart from owning everything is unlimited edition prints, things out there which we talked about? Would it be a larger run edition? It will be almost like a common, anyone come in can start buying these to decorate in their house. But we also want to make sure that there are some collectability in it. So do we mix with fashion brands in? My job, apart from doing multiple things, a key part of my day to day is to sit down with licensors. And we talk about licensor, we it's not just really superhero or movie brands. We're talking about, brands that you relate to every day. What do you see in your supermarket? What do you see at Walmart or Target or the supermarket? What do we do to bring these brands in that people know of? But they're not going to be a collectible. They're basically just brands that you love and you think, hey, my VeVeVerse at my home, when I do have a fridge, I really should have these filled it up with these products in it. And possibly that is a full collectible. Someone will sell a whole fridge one day with everything inside. I envision the VeVeVerse. Myself and Dan is similar. If I can put it into word, it will be almost like games that we play as a kid. SimCity, and then one of my favorite games, Monopoly. You put all these games together. What do you get? You get really unlimited ways for people to innovate and live in immersively. So, I really do believe that the fashion brands is going to be coming in, and brands that you know of every day. It could be car brands, it could be, something that you grab, you drink. It's a drinking company. There'll be a lot out there that we'll be bringing in to this.
David, I absolutely love to hear you speak on this project, and I try and emphasize it to all the people that I speak to in the community regularly. Like, it really shows that you are a collector first and someone who is passionate about the project. And I mean, for anyone that's listening right now or listening back afterwards, like, if you don't think that the project's going to succeed after listening to David speak about it, then I think you need to reevaluate your priorities. But with that being said, I do see Dan here, and I don't want to take up too much more time, so I do have One more thing that I wanted to touch on, and maybe Trevor could also touch on it as well, because I have to be the balance and that other guy as well. So I know a lot of people have expressed frustrations about the amount of collectibles versus the amount of users that we currently have on the app. I think Dan at the beginning did a fantastic job of addressing the concerns with bots and really illustrating the percentages that we may actually be facing. Like he said, 56,000 people sitting on the app for 1,900 collectibles. You do the math, and 1 out of 30 is not a great shot, but it is a shot, and I think people need to adjust their expectations accordingly. However, with that being said, I know Trevor put out a tweet the other day, and you guys were looking at exploring different drop systems, which may not only combat bots and emulators, but also combat any network or latency issues that you were having with the AWS servers, or even, as an example, like Reese said earlier, people that have potato phones. So do you have any thoughts on, and I know that you have a system right now that you feel as though is effective, and I'm not even saying it in relation to bots, but just in general, have you thought about implementing a lottery system or something to that effect to switch things up?
Hey guys, sorry I had some internet issues there. But yes, can you guys hear me all right? Yep, cool. We are always looking into new forms of drops. Obviously we tried the blind box, we've got the traditional drops. And, really as the company grows and expands and we do get more users in, we are going to have to continue evolving our drop system. And that's going to start off with things like, drop lottery. And, I'm still toying with the waiting room idea. I mean, I know it works very well, and it's I guess it's perceived to be more fair, even though it's still completely random. But the trade-off with that is it kind of loses a little bit of the exhilaration that people have around the drop. TLDR, we're always looking to look at new ways that we can improve the drop mechanics.
Can I also add, speaking, because I know I talked with Dan a lot when we were coming up with when we were talking about a lot of the lottery systems. One of the things we were talking about almost like the wagering of what you earn hopefully acts as effectively an auto balancing, because ultimately if it's weighted about how much you wager, so you have this currency that currency is the wrong word, it's a soft currency, it's not a paid currency that you're wagering to increase your chances of the drop in that lottery. But since you can effectively only earn so much based off your how much you've collected, you can only earn so much currency a week. The gamification of that is effectively, if you have a drop that you're really excited on and you want to get that lottery chance, you can pour more into it, but it means it gets a little harder on the later drop because you won't have the currency to put back into it for the later one. So hopefully that becomes a strong both auto balancing system to help with that and make the lottery feel even more fair. It also combats a lot of the like having multiple people bet wager into the lottery version of the drop doesn't work, because you're splitting that currency. It's weighted by how much of the soft currency you had. Similarly, bots, if they're just for the few bots that there are, they're usually just if they were getting the drop, they're just handing it off to someone else, so they're not going to have currency to be able to wager in that. So I think that system, I'm excited that I think it's also just fun to participate in, but I think it can help solve a lot of these problems. Obviously, it'll introduce new ones, and we can continue to adapt it and improve it as it goes along, just like everything else. But I think from a game design perspective, it's a really interesting and exciting feature that we're planning on adding.